From songs, emails, marketing, remaking Flappy Bird, or even acting as your online girlfriend. It looks like ChatGPT can do anything at this point, but how far can we really push it? So, as a VR developer myself, let's find out if I'm going to lose my job and see if ChatGPT can recreate the most iconic VR game there is, Beat Saber. The rules are simple. During this whole challenge, I will not be able to write a single line of code myself. I can ask some specific question, but I can only follow the instruction it will tell me. Okay, so my first question was maybe too simple. How can I make Beat Saber? And as expected, ChatGPT told me about the main step that I needed to recreate the game. So let's get more specific. This is where things already took a sharp turn. Not only did it explain to me how everything worked, but it guided me through the exact step needed to set up a VR player. And just like that, I had VR working on this project. So, my next question was about recreating the environment from the game. Following ChatGPT advice, I first added a platform, then black walls, some 3D primitives, and some emission. Finally, a skybox, which is weird to me because if there is wall around the player, what's even the point of having a skybox? But anyway, who am I to question the AI overlord? And with the environment taking shape, I wanted to add some blue outline to the player's platform like in the real game. Now, in game development, this kind of visual effect can be made using a shader graph by simply connecting some nodes together. And as expected, ChatGPT did a decent job at describing the steps that I needed to do to replicate that effect. But this was super slow to follow for me. So I wanted to try one more thing that I was not sure would work, and it is to draw the graph using text symbols. But you know what? It actually worked. This blew my mind. From that point on, I knew things were about to get really interesting, and I was not prepared for what would happen next. Now, one of my favorite scenes of the game is this one with the big rotating hollow cube. So it turns out that ChatGPT can actually create some simple 3D model by writing the exact content of the file. And after putting the result in Unity, it looks like it took some questionable decision of only showing the front, but why not? So after adding more, I asked ChatGPT to create a script that would rotate all of the cube with an offset, and this is where ChatGPT did a big mistake. You see here, the offset is applied to the speed of the rotation, not on the rotation itself, making the cubes spin faster and faster the further they are from me. And I was not allowed to help him in any way, so the only thing that I asked was, there is an error in the logic of this script, can you find it? And guess what? It actually did and correct itself. That's crazy. But you know what's even more insane? The new result was so much worse. And in the end, I ended up using the first version of the script that ChatGPT made. Now, our environment was almost finished, but I still wanted to try one more thing. You see, in Beat Saber, the environment reacts to the music. For example, the light flicks to the beat of the sound, which can be made by changing the color of our emissive material the louder the music is. So, can ChatGPT do this also? Only one way to find out. Now let's click on play and enjoy the show. But now let's find out if ChatGPT can slice a cube. So to cut a 3D model, you need to use a plane. And for each vertex of the 3D model, check if it's above or below this plane. Doing this, we will end up with two groups of vertex, and with a little bit of procedural mesh generation, we can generate two new meshes from these two groups. Now, maybe ChatGPT had a really bad day because when asked to actually write a script to do the job, it told me that it was outside of its scope as a chat AI. Did we finally reach the limit of what ChatGPT could offer? Well, probably not, because when asked the same question again, it changed its mind. But after importing the script in Unity, it looks like the mesh generation had some bugs. I tried to ask him to find and fix these issues, but nothing seemed to work, until it actually gave up. That's right, congratulations, we end up building an AI to stop trying, and as a solution, ChatGPT sent me on a web page to download this asset, and even corrected its own code to make it work with it. So maybe he was right from the beginning, cause now, following these steps, I had an awesome slicing mechanism in my game that even worked better in VR. Why did ChatGPT wasn't able to do this on its own? Was it because it was too long, too difficult, or maybe he didn't know how? But anyway, we are now ready to jump on the next task, spawning the cube. Now, to recreate something like in Beat Saber, what we can do is actually spawn a cube at a random position at a random time, and then make it move to the player. But doing this felt a bit too easy. Since the release of the game, Beat Saber has gathered a huge community dedicated to creating custom Beat Saber map. And I mean, look at this, they are just insanely cool. So why not use the power of AI that we have to try to use them as well? Luckily for me, I found a custom map for the tongue that I used before to change the lighting audio thing. And if we try to open it, this is what's inside. Okay, so I have no clue what's happening here, but maybe ChatGPT does, so let's copy and paste it in the chat. And here is what it understood. In these files, you can find a detailed description of all the blocks that will be used, and you can find the time at which it will be spawned, the type of cube, so red for 0, blue for 1, or bomb for 2, and then the direction it must have, which range from 0 to 8 and represent up, down, left, right, up, right, and so on. And finally, the line and column index for the position at which it will spawn. So now that we understand better how a custom map works, and I guess you see me coming with this one, let's ask ChatGPT to make a script that can read a custom Beat Saber map. So let's find out and click on play. Wait, before showing you the final result, in the end I added this trail effect to the Saber. Now to make it, I used this awesome tutorial that I found on YouTube. But you know the rule of this challenge. I cannot follow it myself, so instead I use Glasp, a ChatGPT plugin that can first get a transcription of the video and then send it directly to ChatGPT. So that the only thing that was left for me was to ask ChatGPT to directly learn from these tutorials to recreate the Saber trail script. And look at this, it is so cool! Now, following the same process, I decided to improve the feel of the game with some nice particles that will spawn when we slash the cube. And then even more particles to add some smoke to our scene. And look at this, it turned out so much better than I expected. And just like that, our game was now ready. Holy shit guys, did we actually steal Beat Saber? I mean, I don't want to sound cocky, but if we look at what happens when running the same Beat Saber map on the real game, well, it looks pretty similar to me. And it's just even more insane to know that it's an AI that made this thing. So, did ChatGPT succeed to recreate Beat Saber? Tell me what you think in the comment section below, and of course, I cannot release the game for obvious reasons. But I will release an exclusive tutorial on my Patreon that will explain all of the code that ChatGPT did. So if you'd like to support the channel and become an advanced VR developer, the link is in the description. Now thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.